Well, welcome everyone to the pricing reset. We are really excited to share this masterclass with you. I think this is a wonderful way to start out with 2026, and you are going to be getting some really powerful insights. So I wanted to share with you that whether you are here because you're working on pricing your offers in a more aligned way, or whether you are not, you don't have an offer right now, but you are just looking to show up more in alignment with who you know you're created to be, you are in the right place. So welcome, welcome. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Yeah. So this is the pricing reset. This is about aligning your frequency with your true value. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Dr. Darlene Lobel. I am a neurosurgeon, neuroscientist. I run a wellness center here in Sarasota, Florida, and I do quite a bit of online coaching and consulting for a variety of reasons. But one of my favorite things to do is to work with those who are either leaders currently or who are called to be leaders and designed to make a huge impact in this world. So if you are listening to this, then that is you, whether you identify as a leader or not. That is one of the reasons you are here. All right, so let's get started with what we're going to cover today. All right. So first of all, there's four parts that you are going to experience today. First of all is you are going to recognize where what we call borrowed authority, which is not your true authority, is showing up and why it even has developed. Okay, so we will start with that because there's borrowed authority and then there's true embodied authority. And it's really important to understand that distinction as a framework for everything else we're going to talk about. Then the second part of today, we are going to help you identify the belief or identity pattern that is literally blocking you from, one, recognizing who you're created to be, and two, accepting the authority that you have already been given to be this person. And then third, to walk that out in a very empowered way without concern for how others in your life are responding, okay? Then the third part here is really important, and I know a reason why a lot of you are here, and that is truly about aligning and identifying the pricing shift or the positioning shift, if you don't have an offer, that is being laid out for you in this moment, because everything in life works in seasons, right? And you are entering a new season, not just because it's a new year, but you are entering a new season right now. That is why you are here. And we are going to help you align your pricing, align your offers with the frequency that you are designed for right now. Okay. All right. And then lastly, and very importantly, we will do this at the very end, but it is really important that you stay to the end. I like for you to come out with something tangible, with something practical in your hands, right? So that you aren't just here to learn, but you are here to experience. So we are going to have some experiential activities as well, but I want you to come out with something tangible. And that is a personalized signature phrase that you can actually use to carry with you right now in this season to remind you of who you are created to be and to help you step into that authority and empowerment. So as we are starting with the beginning of the year, right, we often think about, oh, what is that list of things that we want to accomplish this year, right? What do we want to accomplish this year? Many of us do this. We go through New Year's resolutions and say, okay, I'm going to lose weight or get in shape, or I'm going to finally write that book I've been called to write, or I'm going to launch my new program that God's put on my heart for so long, right? So many of us do that, right? And then as we do that, why even do you make those things? It's actually not about the resolution you're making. It's not about the goal you're setting, right? Although it's important to set goals, I will say, if you set goals and write them down, you have like an 80 to 90% greater chance of achieving them. Okay. It's actually about who you are while you are working towards those goals, not even who you are or who you think you will be at the end of achieving them, but actually who you are in the process. And a lot of times we say, oh, I need to become more like this, right? I need to become more kind. I need to become more generous. I need to become more confident. But the truth is, you're actually born with everything that you need. You already carry within you everything you need and who you are. You don't need to become anyone else. You don't need to become like anyone else, right? So my invitation to you today is truly this, is for you to take a few moments with us today to discover who you're created to be and to release blocks that are keeping you from feeling free and empowered to be who you truly are. Now, you're here at a program called the Pricing Reset, right? So you're expecting us to talk about pricing, and don't worry, we will. But we've got to start with this foundational truth. If you have a pricing issue, and by that I mean you're not getting enough people opting in on your offer, you are underpricing your offer, you are not feeling like you can transition out of that 9-to-5 job into the calling that you know you are designed for, it's actually not a money problem at the root, okay? And it's actually not, and I'm going to say this because, and this is going to fly in the face of what a lot of people tell you, it's actually not a mindset problem around money, believe it or not. It's not a mindset problem around money, okay? It actually has nothing to do with finances, all right? This is at its root an identity problem. Okay. You are questioning whether you're doing this consciously or not. You are questioning who you are. You are questioning who you are allowing yourself to be. And you are feeling often unworthy of claiming that which has already been set aside for you in this life, right? I firmly believe that every single person here has a purpose, has a passion, and those things do change from season to season, right? We are already equipped with what we need to achieve the things that we are designed to achieve, right? That means that whatever that offer is that you have right now, whatever that offer is that you have in your mind or in your heart right now to create, you already have everything you need. You are fully capable at this moment of doing that. You need to know who that is, and you need to believe it. And you need to have that empowerment come from within you so that you can move forward, okay? So when we shift your mindset around identity, the identity pattern, the pricing conversation literally takes care of itself, okay? And it becomes very, very simple. Now, let's talk about borrowed authority here for a moment. Let me move this out of the way. Okay. Now, what is borrowed authority? Borrowed authority is you taking what someone else is doing, what someone else has done, and you are trying to pattern yourself after that. Okay? Now, there's something to be gained by paying attention to what other people are doing, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But borrowed authority is very different from your true authority, okay? And here's how it shows up. So I want to know who this is resonating with, okay? Do you find yourself over explaining your offer? Do you find yourself giving so many details to people that they kind of, even when you're talking to them, you see them kind of wandering off and getting lost, but you feel like, wait, I have to tell them all the things, right? I need to tell them all the things, or maybe they're not going to opt in for my offer, okay? That is an example of borrowing authority, justifying and pre-answering objections before objections are even raised. Okay. It's an example of borrowing authority. And I'm telling you what, I realize what I am telling you today is flying in the face of probably much of the marketing and sales training you may have had. But I'm telling you what, I have been doing this myself for, gosh, 8 years now, okay, in the entrepreneurial space, in addition to the other things I do. And I have worked with a lot of leaders, okay? And I see this over and over again. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs and coaches, and I see this over and over again. And I'm telling you what, when you are over explaining your offer, when you are trying to get rid of objections in advance, it's because the root is you don't truly believe that you in and of yourself are enough. Okay. Now, here, this one's going to hit home for a lot of people. Who here, and I want to hear in the comments, who here has underpriced their offer before and known that you underpriced your offer? In fact, it almost made you feel something physically when you're like, I can't even believe I'm putting this offer together for this price. I can't believe that I'm actually only getting X amount of dollars for my 1 hour of coaching time. I know I'm worth more than that, but I just can't bring myself to change my price. I see hands going up everywhere. Okay. Who else in here is like, oh, how many bonuses can I give? I've got to give all these bonuses, right? And, make my offer more special than someone else's. And so you find yourself just adding more and more and more. Again, nothing wrong with bonuses. I give them sometimes too. They can be very powerful. But if you're finding yourself doing this over and over, or I'll tell you what about giving away your services for free? I coach. You would be shocked at some of the folks that give things away for free on a routine basis. I'm not saying there's never a place for that. There's absolutely a role for giving. I do that sometimes myself, but I'm talking about on a regular basis. Okay. Well, I'm just testing it out. Phrases like this. Well, it's just my family, or it's just my friends, right? Okay. Listen, these are signs of borrowed authority because you don't believe that what you have within you is enough. Okay. What about this one? Waiting for permission, waiting for credentials. I need one more certification. And again, listen, I am the last one who will tell you not to go get a certification. I don't even know how many certifications I have, right? I have a lot of them, okay? I've got coaching and teaching and all these other kinds of certifications in addition to my MD. All right, listen. And I run certification programs. They are powerful. But when you are not so intentional about, wait a minute, this teaching, this training, this certification is aligned for me in this season. Okay. But you just keep going and studying and taking things and signing up for programs because you feel like you are missing something. That's the key. If you do this because you feel like you're missing something, you're operating from borrowed authority. Okay. If you find yourself using someone else's language for things, oh, this is the magic phrase that works for me. I see these ads on social media all the time. Do you want to know the 7-word phrase that converts everyone from a browser to a buyer, right? Like you've seen these things, right? You know what I'm talking about. And so you go and you pay your $97 or whatever it is for those magic 7 words. And then what happens, right? You put them in your marketing and what do you hear? Crickets, right? Crickets. Okay. So listen, some frameworks are designed. Well, actually, all frameworks are designed for each individual person. Let me start there. There are some similarities between things, which is why maybe you connect with certain teachers or trainers, right? But everything is individual. Everything is unique. And when you find your unique voice, even in someone else's framework, but you infuse your unique voice into it, that's where you will begin to move from borrowed authority, right? You will move from borrowed authority over to true authority, okay? And then lastly, one of the last signs of borrowed authority is this, and that is hesitating to lead publicly. Oh, I can't do a live on social media, right? Or I need to take a poll about what everyone wants in order to find that out. And then I'm going to gauge everything I'm doing in this season around that. Okay. These are signs of borrowed authority, folks. Okay. And your knowledge of who you are and your confidence in that and willing to express that is at the root of that borrowed authority. Okay. So when you don't truly either know who you are or trust who you are, okay, or who maybe it's a permission thing for you, right? You don't believe you're allowed to be this person, right? Maybe you have a deep desire to allow the expression of these qualities in yourself, right? But you don't feel like you have permission to do it. Listen, this is a protective mechanism. We go borrow authority from someone else, right? We go borrow someone else's testimonials. We go borrow someone else's marketing language, right? We do this because you don't fully trust who you are, all right? And it's a natural defense mechanism. You're not doing anything wrong. Let me be clear about that. It's your mind's way of protecting you, right? But here's what happens. Just like this lady, you know, she feels like she's fine, but she's looking in the mirror. And when you really look and you see that when you borrow authority, you're actually in chains, okay? You're in chains, you're in a prison of sorts, right? And you can't break free, and you certainly cannot. You can make some progress, but you can't fully step into that role and all of the things that you're designed to do, okay? It becomes impossible to move forward when you borrow authority. Now, maybe you recognize this pattern, okay, in these actions, right? Actions, feelings, and thoughts. I love laying things out like this because something's going to resonate with you, right? If you're over explaining details, copying proven formulas, hesitating before speaking, seeking that external validation. But wait, not enough people put a like or a heart or a comment on my social media post, okay? All right. Looking for those things in particular, right? Feeling pressure to prove yourself. I've got to make this work, right? It's like, this is my last chance, saying things like this, all right? Feeling that pressure internally, or maybe allowing others around you to place that pressure on you, right? Self-doubt. Can I really do this? Who am I to do this, right? Fear of being exposed. Well, what if I start this program and then I can't teach it? What if people don't get breakthrough, right? These fears that you might feel. Or here's a really big one, all right, is exhaustion from overperforming. Okay, I must do more. Maybe if I do more and throw enough things against the wall, then I'm going to hit on the right thing. Okay, listen, these are signs of borrowed authority. All right, thoughts. Who am I to charge this? Who in the world is going to pay me $97 to run that program? Who in the world is going to pay me even $50 for my hour of coaching, even though I feel like I should be getting paid $250, right? I need more proof first. I need more testimonials first, okay? Maybe I'm not ready yet, all right? These are patterns, if anyone is relating to. This is really, really an important masterclass for you, okay? Now, let's talk about what embodied authority is, okay? It is very important. Let's talk about what it's not, okay? It is not confidence that you create through willpower or through affirmations. Again, nothing wrong with affirmations. I use them on a regular basis. And in fact, we're even going to create a signature phrase for you guys at the end of this masterclass today, okay? So those are helpful, but it doesn't come from that. It literally is clarity that you recognize. It's qualities that deep inside you, you feel are present, right? And they're just waiting to be acknowledged, okay? So you can actually have, and let me say this, because this is really important. You can have embodied authority without actually acting on it. So you can know you are created to be generous, a wonderful speaker, right? Someone who's compassionate, somebody who knows who has wisdom to ask the right questions. You can know that, right? And not actually be doing that. Okay. So you can actually have this before you even start acting on it. Okay. But embodied authority, it's a calmness, right? It's a simplicity. And it is a knowing that nothing else needs to be added. Nothing else needs to be added. It just exists there. Okay. And that's one of the things that we're going to help you begin to move towards today. Okay. Now let's look at this practically. Okay. So when you have embodied authority, what does that look like? All right. What does that look like? Okay. It looks like inner clarity. Clarity about who you are, an understanding of both your identity and purpose for this season. It looks like intentional expression, right? Confidence that your actions, they are very deliberate. They are not accidental. They are not haphazard. They are not throwing things against the wall. It looks like comfort and visibility. And this is a really big one, right? When you are not afraid to tell the world who you are, when you are not concerned about how they are responding, when you are not worried about who's making this negative comment or this positive comment, right? But being comfortable that, you know what, I am going to show you who I am because I know I am made for something great. And the people that I'm designed to help, they are going to be there and recognize that. Okay. But let me tell you what, if you're hiding, they can't find you. Okay. Listen, it is a recognition. It's not a creation. Again, it's not a becoming anybody else, literally. It is about expressing who you're already created to be. All right. It is not manufactured through external means. This is all internal. Okay. And it's just awaiting activation. Okay. Like pushing a button to activate. Now, how it feels. It's a great feeling, right? It's literally a state of being. It is a feeling of being grounded. It is a feeling of being at peace. It is a feeling of being in flow, right? It is a feeling of being very decisive, that you don't have to sit and think and think and think about your decisions before you make them, because you're not making them from your pros and cons list, but you are making them from an outpouring of who you already are. Okay. Embodied authority. It's simple. It's not wordy. Okay. It's not wordy. Doesn't mean you can't wax eloquent. I do sometimes. Right. Okay. But that's not necessary. It shows up as simple language in your marketing. It shows up as not needing to wait for some fancy sales page before you launch your program. Okay. All right. It looks like clear pricing that honors who you are created to be, right? And doesn't require a bunch of discounts on a continual basis, right? It doesn't require adding in this and that all the time. And here's really important. It does not look like urgency to convince somebody. There's less urgency about it. It's like, look, here I am, and here is what I have to offer. And if this is aligned for you, then fantastic. And I'm even willing to be here and help you to understand whether this is aligned for you or not. And if it is, fantastic. We move forward together. And if it's not, peace be with you, right? Okay. All right. So who here wants to operate out of embodied authority, right? I will tell you, it is a lot less stressful in your life when you feel grounded, when you feel at peace, when you feel that flow. All right. Now, I also want to tell you this. There is evidence, and we will dive into this toward the end of this masterclass today. There's evidence that your authority already exists, right? There's evidence that your authority already exists, right? It hasn't disappeared. It hasn't been taken away from you. Okay. You don't have to go and retrieve it. Okay. Listen, here's what happens. You have this this beautiful tapestry on the wall, right? This is a representation of you. It's already built. It's already created. It's already woven together. But sometimes it gets dust on it. Sometimes it gets covered up by stories that we tell ourselves, by words that we listen to other people tell us, right? it gets covered up by that. And so it's important to learn, where did that dust come from? What is that dust? Right? And how do we sweep it off so that we can present this beautiful tapestry of ourselves to the world? Okay. So this is audience participation time. Okay. I want you to type in the chat, and you can do it privately or you can do it publicly. It doesn't matter. But I want you to type in the chat a number from 1 to 10 right now. Okay. And that number is going to represent two things. It's going to represent how confident you are in who you're created to be. So 10 is like, you know what? I know exactly who I am created to be. 1 is like, you know what? I have no idea. Or I have no idea for this season. I know I have all these gifts and talents, but I have no idea what I am called to do in this season. I want to see you guys type a number in the chat. Where are you on a scale from 1 to 10 about how confident you are that you know who you're created to be? That's number 1. And then number 2 is, how empowered do you feel to be that person? So you may know, right? You may already be on the verge of that embodied authority, right? You may already know, listen, I know I'm created for this greatness. I know that I am deep in my heart, but something feels like it's just in your way or keeping you back from being that person. Okay. Again, I want you to give me a number on a scale from 1 to 10 about that. Okay. How confident you are in who you're created to be. And then the second number is, how empowered do you feel to be that person? Okay. I'm going to take a minute and just see what these numbers are coming through so I can see where we are here. Okay. All right, so we've got kind of everything all over the map, from a 1 to a 6 to a 7. There's some people that are at a 9. Here's something that I'm noticing though, okay? The numbers related for most of you to who you're created to be in this season, they're higher than the numbers about feeling like you are empowered to do that. That tells me something very important. It tells me that there's a mindset that you're holding on to. Again, not your fault. It's your brain's protective mechanism, right? That's keeping you from being fully present in that person that you are created to be. Okay. That's what that tells me. And don't worry, we're going to get that number up today. All right. Now, one of the things that I like to use to help people begin to tap into both the identity of who they are and the authority with which they are created so they feel empowered is this. I love working with brain frequencies, okay? I have been working with brain frequencies since the year 2000, okay? We are over 25 years now. I have been working with brain frequencies in some capacity, right? I've done it through putting brain stimulators in someone's brain or someone's spine, right? I've done it through non-invasive tools, such as at the wellness center, right? Like our theta chamber. And then I've done it through simply, and I love this because it's so easy and so powerful. I've done it through playing certain frequencies that are set for specific reasons, right? There's frequencies to begin to shift your brain into what's called a theta state. That theta state is really, really powerful for you because it allows you to tap into your subconscious, okay? And many people are good at shifting into theta state, right? They may use meditation techniques or prayer or worship. These are other things that can help shift you into a theta state. But sometimes those things can be challenging. I don't know about you, but many, many years ago, I was trying to learn how to meditate. And man, I'll tell you what, I tried to meditate for 30 seconds and I couldn't even stay focused, right? It was hard. So how in the world was I going to tap into that inner wisdom that's in my subconscious mind and bring it to the conscious mind? So certain frequencies, when you play them, folks, they literally will allow you, it's like an unlocking code, that's what I call it, to shift your brain into the theta frequency, to access the subconscious so that you can access that wisdom that is designed for you in this moment, okay? So I'm going to play a frequency for you all today. So whether you're here live, whether you're here on the replay, all right, this is going to impact you. Okay. You are going to feel this. All right. Maybe you hear it, maybe you don't. Sometimes the audio likes to play. It doesn't matter. The frequency, it's a scalar wave. It goes to you with or without sound. This frequency could find you on Pluto if you were there. Okay. It can get to you. So I'm going to play a frequency for you to help you tap into this theta rhythm. Okay. To tap into this theta state. And here's what I want you to do. I would invite you to close your eyes right now, okay? To close your eyes right now and just be. Don't try to think about anything. Don't try to make your mind blank. Just close your eyes and notice, okay? Notice how you're feeling inside your body. Notice what thoughts come into your mind. Again, there's no judgment. There's no right or wrong. I don't care if it's a grocery list or things you got to do before work tomorrow. And if it's, you know what? I love how my feet feel on the floor. I love how this warm fire feels when it's sleeting outside. Okay. It doesn't matter. Just allow yourself to be exactly where you are at this moment. Okay. And let the frequency do its work. So close your eyes with me right now, and we're going to listen for just under a minute. All right, keep your eyes closed for me because we're going to move right into a powerful activation, also similar to a visualization that you may have experienced before. Okay, your brain is now tapped into the rhythm of your subconscious, which again has all the information that you need in this moment. Okay. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to first take, with your eyes closed again, a deep grounding breath. So just breathe in slowly, breathe in completely. I want you to recognize that as you're breathing in, that what's happening with your breath is it's actually even sending more oxygen up to your brain, up to that subconscious to begin to release and bring those things that are in the subconscious up to your conscious mind so that you can become aware of them, okay? Now, as you breathe out, I want you to let go of anything any stress that you have, any words that have been coming up recently that you just want to release. This is a space, this is a time to release them. Maybe you kind of push them down in your subconscious, but we're just going to release them. And maybe you see them as words and you see them just floating away, floating away. Maybe there's some feelings that you've been holding on to that have been troublesome for you in some way. I want you to see them just coming away. Listen, those frequencies that we just played, they are still working in this moment. They are still working powerfully in this moment, okay? And allowing you to breathe in, to activate what's in your subconscious mind, and to breathe out and release those things that are not for you, okay? And now again, staying with your eyes closed, I want you to hold in your mind the image of one person that you deeply admire, okay? The first image that comes into your mind, I want you to hold the image of that person in your mind. Do not judge it. Don't try to change it. Just let it be. For some of you, it may be somebody you know well. For some of you, it may be somebody that you consider, a celebrity or an influencer or an author, right? For some of you, it may be a family member, right? A matriarch in your family, patriarch in your family. Just let the image of one person that you deeply admire come into your mind. And what I want you to do right now is I want you, first of all, to see them doing something. When you think of this person, how do you think about them? What do you think about them doing? Are they, writing a book? Are they speaking from a stage? Are they comforting somebody? Are they counseling or serving as a coach? Are they being generous to somebody? What are they doing? Right? What do you see this person doing? What do they commonly do? And then I want you to think about this. What kind of person did they need to be in order to do that? What kind of person, what is the one strongest quality that they need to do what you see them doing? Is it creativity? Is it boldness? Is it compassion? Is it strength? What is it that they need to be? Who are they as a person that allows them to do what you are seeing them do? Okay. Notice even in your mind's eye as you're seeing this, how do they appear to you, right? Are they filled with joy, right? Do they just look grounded and at peace? What is that about them? What quality is becoming so evident to you? And now I invite you to open your eyes, all right? And I want you to write down what that quality is. What is that quality that you saw in this person through this moment that allowed them to do what you saw them doing? What is that quality? I want you to write it down, okay? Write it down on a piece of paper for yourself, okay? Write it down. You can share in the chat if you want to, but it's important that you physically write this down about this quality that you saw this person being in order to do what they're called to do. Okay? Now, we're going to use this. Here's what I want you to do now. Is I want you to answer this question with that as a framework. Okay? I want you to answer the question, who are you? And I want you to answer it like this. I am a person who, okay, is. I am a person who is maybe generous, maybe compassionate, maybe strong, maybe courageous, right? I want you to write that down and physically write down this phrase. I am a person who, and then follow that up right now. Okay? You can notice if your mind is saying, oh, wait, I don't really believe that. That's okay. Don't worry. We'll get there. Okay. I want you to just write that down. Okay. The first answer that comes to your mind. Okay. This will be the truest answer. Okay. And just one thing. That's all. Just one thing. Who are you? Okay. And as you write that down, I want you to pay attention. Pay attention to what comes up. Does your pen even hesitate as you're writing? Okay. If it does, what are you feeling? Right? Are you feeling resistance? Are you feeling a tightening in your chest or in your gut? Right? Are you hearing in your mind, well, maybe that was who I was created to be, but there's no way I can do that now because, okay? What is the resistance that is coming up? Is it a feeling? Is it a thought? And write that down, what it is, because we're going to dismantle it, okay? We are going to dismantle it. So write that down and know this, that is not truth speaking. Okay, that feeling, it's not truth because we just tapped into your theta frequency in your subconscious mind in a powerful way. Okay, we did this because I can tell you what came up about I am a person who, whatever you wrote after that, that is truth. Okay, because it can't be anything else, because it came directly out of your subconscious mind. Okay, so whatever resistance you're hearing or feeling, that part's the lie. Okay, that is a mindset that has been covering up your true identity pattern. And again, this mindset's job, again, it is to keep you safe. But the consequence of that is it can keep you from playing smaller than you're designed to. Okay. And it will always argue against expansion. All right. So we are going to dismantle this. Now, what do you think is the reason during this activation, during the visualization, I had you think of somebody you admire? Because I've just been here talking about borrowed authority. So, what in the world are we doing talking about someone else? What is that? Why is that? Listen, I want to tell you what you admire in another person is not how they do things, it's not even what they do. It's actually your mind, your spirit recognizing in them something that's in you as well. Okay. When you are inspired by someone, it is your frequency that is recognizing their frequency, right? There's a similarity. You know, when two frequencies of the same amplitude and pattern and wave interact, they amplify significantly. They don't add, they don't cancel each other out, they actually magnify. So there's a reason that you're drawn to certain people, right? And it's about their frequency at heart. And the way that shows up in this world is it shows up through the embodiment of who we're created to be. Okay. Recognition requires resonance, folks. Okay. It requires resonance. You literally sometimes can't even see a quality in another person, but you certainly don't admire it unless it is something that you carry within you. Okay. The way to use this information, it's not to copy what they say. It's not to copy their mannerisms, right? It's literally to recognize that category, that quality, that it is already within you, and then begin to tap into that within yourself. Okay. Now, let us move into pricing, because this is called the pricing reset after all. So we got to cover this. So I want you to think about right now what your signature offer is so we can bring some clarity to your work. I want you to think about the things that you offer right now. Okay. And if you don't have an offer, don't worry. I have something to help you as well. But for those of you, I know many of you here have offers and you have many. Okay. I want you to pick one. Okay. Pick the first one that comes to your mind. Because again, we just tapped into your theta frequency. Okay. So I want you to pick the one that is coming first to your mind. Maybe it's your one-on-one coaching packages. Maybe it's a group program or a consulting package you offer. Maybe it's, a book that you've written, right? That you're trying to get out in the public. Maybe it's something else, right? So I want you to think about one thing that you offer. Okay. Again, recommend you choose the first one that comes to mind. If you need to write your list of all the things you offer and then read it really quick and see which one jumps off the page, you can do that. Okay. And I want you to write, okay, again, you should have on your piece of paper that quality that you admired, right? You should have the I am someone who is phrase, right? And then you should have that block written out. Okay. Now, below that, I want you to write down what's the name of your offer. What do you call it? If you don't have some fancy name, I don't care. Call it my one-on-one coaching, right? Single session coaching package, my signature program that's called this, this, and this. Write that down. And then underneath that, what I want you to write are between 1 and 3 very specific deliverables that your client gets when they take your offer. Okay. very specific deliverables, okay, that they can see how those practically impact their life, right? When they take your offer, they experience clarity about their offer, right? Okay, that's one of the things we're helping you with here. When they opt in to your program, they experience by the end of it a deeper state of calm, a deeper state of flow. When they take your program, they experience a wealth increase, right? Financial rewards. Okay, whatever your offer is, I want you to write between 1 to 3, no more than 3, at least 1, but no more than 3 deliverables that they get. Okay? And if you don't have an offer, that's okay. Okay. What I want you to write here is I want you to write the offer of yourself, right? How do you feel like you are designed to show up in this life, right? How do you feel you are designed to show up in this life? Okay. What is your purpose? All right. I want you to write that down because that's your offer to the world right now, right? Whether you have something that's put out in the public or not, you are designed to offer yourself to the world in a certain way. So what is that? So if you don't have an offer, you can write that down. Okay. So I want you now to take a look at everything that you've written. And I want you to see, one, if you notice any connection between that quality you noticed about the person during the activation and your I am statement, right? I am a person who. What do you notice between those two? Is there a correlation? Maybe it's exact, maybe it's not, maybe it's connected, maybe it seems to not be connected. I can tell you it is. Okay. I want you to notice that. And then I want you to skip the block for a moment and I want you to look at your offer. And I want you right now to see how either that quality that that person that you admire has or what you believe about yourself ties into your offer and the deliverables. What about those qualities help you to give this offer to the world successfully? How is it related? Okay. This is really, really important. There's a connection. There's a reason we did all of this in this order. So take a moment to do that. And if you're watching on the replay, you can pause and take some time with this, right? Because this connection, it's key that you understand, right? And for those of you that don't have an offer out there, I want you to think about how these qualities help you to show up in the way that you believe you're designed to show up. Now, let's move on to this revelation question, because this is what's going to help you get to the next step. All right. This question that I'm going to ask you bypasses the false identity pattern that you're holding on to, and it accesses your natural clarity so that you can begin to recognize aligned pricing and how you're designed to show up in the world. And here's the question. Look at your limiting belief that you wrote down or the feeling that you felt when you were writing the I am statement, right? Whatever was coming into your head, or if it didn't happen during this session, what is something that keeps you from moving forward? What is a belief that keeps you from moving forward? Is it there's too much noise out there in my space, right? Why is my program more unique than anyone else's? Or why would somebody pay me when so-and-so has all these degrees after their name, right? Whatever. If that limiting belief came up in this session, use it. If it didn't, I want you to think about what have been the things that have been holding you back. What is that limiting belief? And now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to draw a big X through that limiting belief. Just draw an X through it. Okay. That limiting belief, it's gone, doesn't exist. Okay. If you believe For example, that your offer is in a, you know, a red ocean, as they like to say in marketing, right? That there's a lot of other offers out there, and why would yours be unique? What if that wasn't true? What if your offer is actually a blue ocean? Okay. If you believe, well, why would somebody buy my program when so-and-so has so many credentials after the name? What if credentials were irrelevant? What if no one cared about credentials? Okay. I want you to get rid of the limiting belief, just temporarily get rid of it. Okay. We're going to permanently get rid of it, but let's get rid of it right now. Okay. X through it. X through it on paper and X through it in your mind and X through it in your heart as if it doesn't exist. Okay. I'm giving you permission to do that right now. All right. Now, if that limiting belief is gone, how do you price your offer? Again, don't care what you priced it before. How do you price it? If that limiting belief doesn't exist, if there's no noise, right? If it's really clear who you're talking to and that you are created to talk to certain people and help certain people. If credentials don't matter, right? If your family giving objections doesn't matter. If it's irrelevant, how do you price your offer? And I want you to write down a number. Don't think about it. Don't judge it. Don't write several answers. Don't scratch anything out. If you already scratched something out, which some of you did, get rid of it. Okay. Your first answer when you are in a state, in a theta state, tapped into your subconscious, that is the answer for the moment. It's the answer for the moment. Okay. Now, I want you to tell me in the comments, did it surprise you what you wrote down? Did it surprise you? Okay. So, some ways to help you with this. When the interference is removed, asking yourself, what price would you put on something if you weren't managing someone's reaction to it? If you weren't protecting yourself from judgment? How would you show up if you don't have an offer? Or even if you do, how would you show up in the world if you trusted that who you are is exactly who you're created to be? How would you show up if it didn't matter what other people thought? If it didn't impact anything, if someone disagreed with who you were being or you offended somebody, how would you present yourself to the world? Again, first thought is your clearest truth. Yeah. Okay. So connections, yes, everyone's noticing connections, and the numbers surprised a lot of people. Okay. So if you're watching on the replay, all right, I want you to notice that for yourself. Now, let's take a moment to anchor this insight. Okay. I want you to first of all notice how quickly clarity comes when the noise goes away. What did we do? First, we tapped into that theta frequency in our subconscious mind. Secondly, we chose to dismantle, to disregard the objection, the false mindset that was coming up, right? You made that choice. And when you did that, how quickly did the answer come, right? These are very simple things to get clarity. It doesn't take a 10-step process, guys, because you already have the answers, right? You already have the answers. Okay. All right. So we're still going to work on your signature phrase in just a few moments. But before we do that, I want to do a confidence check again. Okay, so you gave me a number before we did the frequency and the activation and the pricing exercise. And you said, okay, I was this confident about who I was. I felt this empowered. You gave me two numbers. So I want you to give me some numbers again. Now, how clear, how confident do you feel about who you're created to be in the season? Give me a number. How empowered do you feel to be that person in this moment? Give me a number. Take your time. Wow. I love this. We have gone from like 5 and 1 to 10 out of 10. From even 6 and 4 to 10 out of 9, 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10. Got up to an 8 for some folks. Listen, okay? How much time have we been here? 9 out of 9 for another, okay? I love, love, love not only that the clarity about who you're created to be has gone up, but the empowerment, right? That embodied authority, that empowerment has gone up. Those numbers went up the highest. I love that. Notice that. And listen, this insight is very powerful. Listen, this moment of recognition is real, and the clarity that you have just reached, it's there for you anytime you need it. Okay? I will tell you, staying here in this moment, because you're not always in this masterclass, right? That takes some strategy, right? It requires practice. It requires support. And it requires some guidance to lead you to that, okay? So that if those things try, they don't have any power over you anymore because you've just eliminated them, okay? You've eliminated them. If they try to come back, right? Support to help you from having them come back is important. So I'm going to tell you about a way that I can help you do that. If it feels aligned for you, that's great. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. And then we will close with creating that signature phrase that you're going to write and hold on to that's going to help you anytime these mindsets try to come back. Okay? So stay with me here. Now, this is something I just put together. I've done a lot of programs over the years, but leading up to 2026, I was in deep prayer about how best to support people. And it was through something new. Okay. And it's called the Illumination Room, which I love, right? I love that name. And it truly is, it's a very short, very powerful 4-week program. That's it. 4 weeks. It's identity and authority container to help you to see yourself clearly and to lead from who you truly are. Simple, powerful. What it does is it will help you stabilize the clarity that you just had, right? So that your default way of thinking, right, comes through. Your default way of thinking. That's how it changes for you. So your default way of thinking is no longer what's limiting me, but actually who you're created to be. Wouldn't that be great? So you will, through this program, recognize, so important, when are you borrowing authority versus embodying authority? And it's not as simple as you think, right? Just because you're using a framework does not mean you're borrowing authority, okay? If you're using it verbatim, yeah. But if you're taking it and using it as a template and then allowing that beauty, that goodness that's within you to shine through, that actually becomes embodied authority, right? How do you recognize? What are the signs for you in particular that say, hey, wait a minute, I'm borrowing authority, so let me pause here for a moment. So learn how to do that in real time, okay? Then identifying your identity patterns and those mindsets that keep coming up, because yeah, there was a phrase or something or a feeling that came up, but there's probably more than one, right? In most instances I've seen, there's more than one narrative that can come into our presence, right? Whether it comes externally from somewhere else or something we tend to allow to come into our mind, right? So through this illumination room, you will begin to identify those beliefs and behaviors that have been pulling you back from these moments of clarity like this, okay? It will help you shift your default way of relating both to yourself and to others, okay? So you're going to move away from doubt and proving instead to a trust and a knowing. And then very importantly, will help stabilize clarity as your new normal. Okay. So this will become, again, automatic for you, not something you have to think about, but you just wake up in the morning, being who you're created to be, knowing, recognizing even where's the open door for that day, right? There are seasons, folks. Of course, we talked about this in the beginning. There are seasons of different aspects of us being highlighted, but there's an energy and a flow to the day too. And you know this. If you pay attention, you know this. So how to recognize that for you in the moment, okay? And it will change how you show up in the world, which will be so powerful. So after this 4-week program, you're going to understand why you've been playing smaller than you're designed to, right? You'll see the pattern clearly instead of just letting it be rote and unconscious, right? You'll have specific strategies to you based on your brain patterns to dismantle thoughts and feelings that are not aligned for you. You will have crystal clarity about who you're created to be in this season, all right? And recognize that natural embodied authority without having to force yourself to be confident, right? All right. You will feel steady in who you are, even when other thoughts, doubts arise. So you can show up powerfully for yourself and for those you're designed to serve. And in fact, I will tell you, the more you embody true authority, right? And your true identity, the more people, they just come to you. You don't have to go out and hunt for them. Okay. You need to present yourself to the world. It increases your bioelectric field, right? Which is also an electromagnetic field, which again draws people to you. The more you know who you are, the more confident you are in who you are, the more you walk in that embodied authority, okay? The more you tap into your own empowerment, man, that biomagnetic field, it increases significantly. And importantly, you will have pricing and language that just comes to you so naturally. You're not even gonna have to think about it, okay? You'll be able to make your offers with boldness and confidence, okay? So I wanna share with you, again, this is a new program. One of the reasons I felt led to create this is because I have some other programs that I offer that are powerful, but it seemed to me like there was something missing in the beginning, and it was this, right? It is this about understanding who you are and feeling empowered for this, right? So illumination, it's the first part. I have other programs that some of you, if you go into this, you may want to consider. Healing reset. It's really powerful. It helps you, once you know who you are, really hone in on blocks that have been stuck patterns for a long time and release them, right? And then beyond that, I have our royal reset, right? I call that our coronation, right? When we feel fully released to step into who we're called to be. So this is the beginning, this illumination room. And again, some of this may be for you. It may not. That's okay. Some of you came in here and you've gotten what you need. And I bless you and go forward, right? Stay though, because in just 1 minute, less than 1 minute, we're going to go on to that final exercise, okay? All right. So again, with this program, it's 4 weeks. It's guided identity and authority work. It's a weekly teaching and coaching combined. Okay. You're going to have a comprehensive workbook. So something tangible you hold on to move forward, giving you guided practices for integration and of course, support in between sessions. Okay. It's 444, 4 weeks. That's it. Okay. If you want access to this, send me a message. You can type illumination in the comments, however you want to do it. Just send me a message and I'll send you information about it. Okay. We're going to start next Sunday. All right. Now, here's the message that I want every one of you to hold on to as we are coming to a close today. You are not creating something new. You are not transforming into someone else. You're literally remembering who you already are. That's what we've done today. That's what you're going to continue to do as you move forward, right? This work is about recognition. It's not about transformation. It is about revealing. It is not about building. Now, let's do our final exercise together, okay? This is what I like to call evidence recall, all right? And what I want you to do right now is close your eyes again. I want you to close your eyes again. And I want you to think about a time that somebody said thank you to you, or maybe not even something you did, but for who you are. Like, thank you for being so kind. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for asking that question because it gave me clarity. When did somebody last say thank you to you, or not necessarily last, but sometime in a way that it impacted you? I want you to think about when your presence made a difference in someone's life, even when you didn't deliberately go out of your way to try to do that. Somebody sent you a nice compliment unexpectedly. Like, I notice that you are helpful in this situation or that situation. I notice that there's joy when you walk into a room, right? I want you to remember these times. Remember the time when you're fully being yourself, just naturally, and how that impacted someone else. Who were you being in that moment? What quality were you expressing in that moment? Was it grounded leadership? Was it gentle guidance? What was it? Was it boldness that someone admired in you? What was that? Okay. Now open your eyes. Listen. You have evidence that you already are the person that you have gotten greater clarity about today. You have evidence of that. What you were remembering when someone thanked you, when somebody reached out to you, that's evidence that this is true. Okay? We didn't just sit here and make things up. We pulled it out of your subconscious, and there's evidence about it. And I want you to write down that evidence because it's important. Somebody thanked me for. Write that down. Okay? It's important to go back and remind ourselves that this evidence exists. And now, to conclude, we are going to create our signature phrase. Okay? In order to anchor the recognition of the work we've done today, I want you to complete one of these two sentences. I would strongly encourage you to complete the first one, but if you feel more aligned with the second one, that's fine. Complete one of these two phrases. The first is this: I am someone who. Write something down. Okay? What quality or way of being defines your natural presence? I am someone who. Write that down. If you feel more aligned with it, you can fill in this blank. I bring blank into spaces and people, such as I bring joy into spaces and people. I bring peace into spaces and people. I bring this, right? What were you thinking about? All right? Write this down and let this be your signature phrase. Okay? This is your signature phrase, and it may have changed from what we were talking about earlier. That's okay. Listen, we've done a lot of work today. We've been weaving in and out, right, through a lot of powerful areas of your brain today. This is your final signature phrase. I am someone who, okay? I bring blank to spaces and people. Write that down. And then for those of you that have access to the frequency program that I played for you a little earlier today, right? That theta, that frequency that is designed to get your brain in theta. Okay. If you have access to that AO scanner, you can use this phrase that you've just written, your signature phrase, to help you on a regular basis to get rid of mindsets that are blocking you from truly believing and embodying it. Okay. And you do it through this program called an inner voice program. Very simple. You record yourself saying that I am phrase. You record yourself saying the I bring phrase. Okay. And then this program will literally analyze the mindsets that are holding you back from fully believing and embodying that and moving forward in it. And what's more, it delivers balancing frequencies to you that are customized for you through beautiful music overlaid. Okay. So you get to listen to these beautiful melodies, receive frequencies that are specifically designed to dismantle mindsets related to the signature phrase that you just created. Folks, that's worth its weight in gold. So if you have access to that program, it's called the AO Scan. I encourage you to use this with your inner voice daily prompts. If you say, I don't know what you're talking about, Dr. Darlene, send me a message afterwards, and I will send you some information about it. Easy to access, online, very accessible, very simple. Okay. This will help you take what we have done today and have it continue to be impactful for you. Okay. If someone else invited you to this, then reach out to them, please. But you can always reach out to me. Okay. All right. And then my final thought today is this. I want to leave you with that what has been revealed today does not need to be proven. Okay? What has been revealed does not need to be proven. Let me empower you with that truth.